CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets, those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there? Absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. But when I see CNN all night long, they're trying to say, well, maybe it wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks, and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSDNC ought to apologize. I think these guys really, these networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are. You're real losers.
Israel says that they violated the peace.
You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have no choice. I got to watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news. But I think CNN is a gutless group of people. And the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many times. But the people that run it ought to be ashamed. MSDNC, a guy named Brian Roberts, he heads it. He's a disgrace. He's a weak, pathetic disgrace.
Joining me here at Courageous Media, Donald Trump was on fire today. He woke up on the wrong side of the bed, absolutely throwing down against CNN, who he called scumbags, MSDNC, Brian Roberts, the entire propaganda media establishment, and even more importantly, against Iran, but bigger than that, against Israel and Bibi Netanyahu, although he doesn't name him by name. But this is absolutely amazing. You got to see this. This is some tremendous stuff. Donald Trump was not to be trifled with today as he was heading out to NATO for the NATO summit. We're going to dive into all this. Obviously, this comes on the heels. We reported it as it was breaking last night of the ceasefire that Trump had brokered between Israel and Iran and really the United States, because as soon as the United States struck Iran's nuclear capabilities and demolished them, Trump immediately entered into negotiations to get this whole thing to come to an end. We had accomplished our objective. We wanted Iran to never have a nuclear weapon. Trump was able to basically effectuate that with the U.S. military. And from there, he said, look, this is the end of this thing. We don't need to go any farther. We're not interested in regime change. We're not doing that. We're not doing any nation building, none of this. So he was able to broker a ceasefire last night that took effect last night. But Trump woke up today to the fact that that ceasefire was already being broken. Absolutely ridiculous. So we are going to dive into all aspects of the ceasefire as it relates. So we got the tweet about the ceasefire. We got JD Vance talking about it. And then we got the what happened this morning, which is absolute fire. So here we go. Let's dive right in. So here's Trump's tweet on the ceasefire itself that he released last night. We posted this last night, but I want to dive into it. I want to share it here so that we can level set. So here's Trump. This was last night at about 6 p.m. Eastern time. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there'll be a complete and total ceasefire 6 hours from now. He lays out how it was a staggered beginning to the ceasefire. We'll get down to this. During the ceasefire, you shall remain peaceful and respectful on the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will. I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years, destroyed the Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. God bless the world, which is exactly what we need. We need God. God has to be in the middle of this or we are all effed. Okay, let's just get honest. I'll use that word because it is apropos today. Donald Trump. We're going to get to that in a minute. But anyway, so right after that dropped, JD Vance, the best vice president ever in the history of the United States, showed up on Fox. They asked him about it. So let's dive right into that. JD Vance on Fox talking about the ceasefire. Here we go.
We knew this was coming. The draft, it was interesting. I just read the draft about 2 minutes before we went on the air. It was a little bit different from what the president had showed me a couple of hours ago. But again, I knew that he was working the phones as I was on the way over here. So I knew exactly what we were going to do. And look, I love that about this presidency and this administration is he's always working. He doesn't say, you know, the vice president's going to do an interview, so I'm going to stop doing anything. He says, you know, we're going to do the American people's business. The vice president knows what I'm trying to accomplish. And if I get it done, great, because we're going to talk about it and celebrate it, because it is a thing to celebrate. I can't emphasize this enough, Brett. We have destroyed the Iranian nuclear program. 0 Americans have died. That's an amazing, amazing thing. Americans, whether Democrats or Republicans, we should be celebrating that.
Mr. Vice President,
we knew this was coming. The draft, it was interesting.
So
I just read the draft about 2 minutes before we went on.
So Donald Trump has been able to broker this ceasefire. And so he announces it last night. J.D. Vance goes on Fox. They talk about it. Everything is going phenomenal. He announces it at basically 12 p.m. Eastern time. Hey, the ceasefire is now in effect. Don't anybody break it. Don't be stupid. And I'm off to bed. So Trump goes to bed, but wakes up this morning to absolute nonsense. All right. It's almost like you've got two brothers, two kids, two 12-year-olds who have no emotional control whatsoever. That's what Iran and Israel are acting like. And daddy shows up and daddy, sets the tone. And so dad leaves, dad goes on a business trip, dad goes to sleep, and the two brothers cannot maintain it for more than a few hours. And so what you've got, let me give you a little bit of a timeline here. So Trump announces the ceasefire initially with about, and he's got 6 hours to go. Israel basically says, oh, okay, the ceasefire is going to take effect. Let's launch everything we got. So Israel, in a completely dingbat move, which shows their complete lack of credibility, their lack of sincerity, their lack of intelligence, they essentially disrespect Trump first time by launching everything they got. Okay, so they go for a full-scale strike in the waning hours before the ceasefire takes effect. Iran responds, and then we have the ceasefire actually take effect, after which there is a rogue missile from Iran that heads towards Israel. I think there might have been even 2 of them. Both of them are shot down. They do not impact. They do not explode. There is no damage. There is no injury. There is no nothing. But Israel issues, the IDF issues a tweet. Bibi Netanyahu issues a tweet saying, Iran violated the ceasefire and we are going to respond with full force. To which Trump says, oh, hell no. So here's Trump as he wakes up 6 a.m. to all this mayhem going on. And Trump says, no. Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn. Actually, let me do this one first. So this was the first tweet. So Trump wakes up to this nonsense. Israel, do not drop those bombs. It is, if you do it, is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. And then from there, we get this tweet. So Trump follows it up with this one after having talked to Netanyahu, evidently. So he got on the phone with Netanyahu. You're going to see where he tells the press that that's exactly what he's going to do. Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. Ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, as it turns out, Israel did drop a bomb or 2. They took out a radar station near Tehran. There were no injuries that I know of. Essentially, Iran at that point said, okay, we're going to let it go. What Israel should have done to the rogue missile from Iran the first time, but I don't think Israel is that emotionally intelligent. And more I see, like, Israel just cannot do anything but be the instigator half the time. So after all this, in that same press conference, that little mini presser, as Trump is walking to Marine Run to head to NATO, after he unloads on the media, Trump gets asked about the entire ceasefire shenanigans. And you've got to see what Trump said. This is absolute gold from Trump. Let's check out Trump as he was asked about the ceasefire that he just brokered. Here we go.
Says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committing?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you have a response to Iran?
I love it. I absolutely love Trump. Trump is just, I mean, when Trump does that, it is so classic because he is literally, I mean, he is angry. This is not Trump speaking precisely. This is Trump off the cuff. This is Trump having woken up to two children fighting each other after he basically told them to stop. This is daddy's home and he's not taking this crap anymore. And this is also Trump. Now, this is to Candace Owens' credit. This is Trump also waking up to how destructive Israel can be and how manipulative they can be and how they seem to always have to get in the last word and how in many ways they have disrespected the United States of America and Donald Trump, who's the one person they shouldn't disrespect. I understand, I don't agree with, but I understand why they disrespected Biden because he was a weak, pathetic simp. But don't disrespect Donald Trump because he's not going to take it. And Donald Trump will remember the next time you need help, Israel, Bibi, Trump may not be there for you. Trump may just say, you know what? No, we'll wait this one out. Thanks to your little ceasefire shenanigans. But Trump absolutely lost it. They don't know what the F they're doing. They've been fighting for so long. They're so full of hate for each other. This is absolutely classic. Now, Candace, on her show today, she kind of, I don't know, she tried to thread the needle. She didn't just come out. I wanted to hear her say, you know what, I want to apologize to Donald Trump, which is what she should have done. After all the shade she threw his way that he's betrayed MAGA, Trump's a liar, Trump betrayed us, I regret my vote, her and Dave Smith. No. Now you can come back and say, you know what? I was wrong on the outcome. Now, maybe you want to even say, look, I still don't think we should have dropped the bombs, but Donald Trump has played this one to perfection. And maybe it was too risky, but Donald Trump made it work and Donald Trump pulled it off, and he should at least be given that credit. Now, I totally understand all the shade she throws Israel's way, because the more we watch Israel, the worse it gets. Now, they're still our best, well, they're still our closest ally in the region. But if they're not careful, they will very quickly get eclipsed by the UAE and Qatar and Saudi, because more and more, those three entities have showed up and shown the United States that they are willing to actually fight with us and work with us. To give you a little bit of background into how this whole ceasefire came about and why Israel should be very, very careful that they do not lose their special relationship with Donald Trump and with America. After Trump, after the airstrikes on Iran, Trump immediately turned to Israel and said, we got to ceasefire this thing. So he basically leaned on Netanyahu to get the ceasefire done. But then he turned to Qatar, to the Emir of Qatar, and said, I need you to lean on Iran and you get Iran to the table on this thing. And it was Qatar who was instrumental in getting Iran to the table for this ceasefire. Qatar showed up when they didn't have to and said, yeah, we're in. We will spend some of our political capital to help get this deal done. And if Israel's not careful, if they continue to disrespect Trump, they could very well lose this special relationship. And you might actually see Trump start undermining not necessarily Israel, but Netanyahu, which would be very bad for Netanyahu, because does anybody remember that before October 7th, Netanyahu was facing a massive scandal in his own country. He was facing impeachment. He was facing criminal charges for corruption. He was looking at potential jail time. All that came to an end when October 7th happened, which in many cases, Candace has said this, would beg the question, was it an inside job? All right. There's lots of questions about October 7th as to why the IDF was stood down. It only takes 45 minutes to fly across the entire whole of Israel, why it went on for hours with no response, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get into that. But so Israel better be very careful that they do not lose their special place. But Trump was pissed today. He was not happy. He woke up throwing violence at the media, at Iran, and Israel, which is absolutely amazing. Trump is absolutely winning. And at the same time, he is simultaneously brokering peace throughout the world. He brokered peace in the Congo. He brokered peace between India and Pakistan. He has now brokered peace between Iran and Israel, at least a ceasefire. Trump should absolutely win the Nobel Peace Prize. But at the same time he is doing that, at the same time he is frustrated and pissed because his two little kids, Iran and Israel, can't play nice with each other. Trump is also simultaneously destroying the Democrat Party, who are in an absolute extinction birth death spiral. But thanks everybody who's rolled up. This is the first time. I mean, this is an absolute first. Trump has never, ever dropped the F-bomb on TV in a press conference. He's never done it. This was not an open mic situation. This was not it was off the cuff and he didn't think that. No. This was to the media, in their face, on camera. And he was very specific. When you hear him say it, he kind of paused. He said, they don't know what the F they're doing. Do you hear me? He wanted to make sure that everybody understood just how angry he was. This is not going to go away lightly. So these two, Israel and Iran, better maintain this ceasefire or there could be serious hell to pay in the future. Because Trump is not interested in regime change. He is not interested in a forever war. He is not interested in nation building, and he will have none of it. I would love to hear apologies to Trump from Dave Smith and Candace Owens. Tucker's already basically quasi-apologized. Tucker's already said, hey, you know what? Trump got this one right. I don't like the risk that he took. Maybe it was too risky for my blood. I was scared, but Trump pulled it off. To his credit, Tucker's already gone there. We need some more people to go there. And at the same time, Trump needs to realize how potentially destructive some other voices that are in his ear are, such as Lindsey Graham, better known as Lindsey Grahamnesty, Mark Levin, and others who have been pushing the neocon agenda, which we need to utterly dispense with.